Welcome to the stream where I'm going to talk and complain about YouTube. They tell us when the best time to stream is, and I swear every time I listen to it, it's like the worst time to stream. In terms of number of people, they're doing it on purpose. We're probably going to have a lot of lag too. So I apologize for that, but you can always watch it on the rerun if it's really bad. I'm doing this from a different place than I normally do, a little bit further from the router. So yeah, I hope you guys watched the Sacred Sites of Ngaru. This property is an amazing place. You know, we live right on the river down there. Our little cabin is down there, and the river has just all these like house-sized boulders in it, even though it's just a couple inches deep most of the time. And the rocks are all sorts of different colors, and so it's like kind of like walking on a rainbow, shimmering rainbow through the jungle. Definitely one of my favorite parts of this place is the crystal clear river in the front. But I also want to let you guys know something kind of unfortunate. I'm probably a little bit out of it because I am fighting Chagas disease because I was bitten on the lip by a kissing bug. And luckily I have an autoimmune disorder. It may sound funny, but most people don't have symptoms, and so it's a silent disease. And then after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, maybe even longer, you might have heart failure, or your brain will just start getting chewed up to the point where you start going crazy. But in my case, because I have an autoimmune disorder, my body went insane immediately. So yeah, it was really bad, and it's still really bad. Today is a little bit better, but basically I've had a migraine headache for like 16 days or something, and since we caught it early, it's likely that we can fix it. Um, because if you get past the acute phase, apparently you're stuck with it for life, which is not good. And then also it's going to kill you eventually. So hopefully we got it in the acute phase, and thank you, my dear. And I'll get better. If we miss that window, then I eventually will die from it. But the retreat in April is fine because the acute phase at most is 8 weeks, and by then it will be plenty of time. And even if I am unable to cure it, I won't die for many years. So the retreat's fine. I should be fine by then. Totally, totally fine. But it's been pretty nightmarish. My organs are swollen. Like I can feel my kidneys when I walk, and like it's pretty crazy. Kissing bugs are very similar to assassin bugs, in case you don't know, and I should have known right away because you know they just traditionally isn't the right word, but generally they bite people in the lips. So when my lips started to swell up and I got sick, I don't know why the doctor didn't say, well, you have Chagas, obviously. So anyways, uh, another really helpful thing are the plant medicine teas that I make, which we make for all of our guests at the retreat as well. And I've been working with a new plant that I'm really excited about having in my life and the life of our retreat guests. Mimosa pudica, touch me not, or sensitive plant. Mice that in the jungle. There have been studies done on it, and it is definitely anti-tumor, um, anti-parasite, anti-inflammatory. Um, I could go on and on. I don't remember exactly the entire list, but it's really, really long. So Unidagato is always in the tea. What am I missing here? We use hibiscus flowers, or fruit, excuse me, hibiscus fruit to sweeten it. Um, I swear I'm missing a plant. Oh, a lot of times I'll use Chiric Sananga, which is not the Sananga that you apply in eye drops. It's a different plant. It is in the Solanaceae family, but unless you use the root, it's not dangerous. It has blue and white flowers. It's a big bush. You see it everywhere here. It has a lot of benefits, including pain killing and energizing. And it can be a little bit psychoactive if you use a lot of leaves, but I don't use enough to make the tea psychoactive. And then also, we put enough psilocybin mushrooms in the tea that there is like, it's not exactly a microdose, but it's like a threshold dose where you'll know that it's there, but you're not tripping, if that makes sense. So this tea is something that I've been engineering for a number of years now. I think I actually made a video in the early days about it, and showed, the plants. Oh, Mondelez, the one I'm aware of is male. It's very, very bitter. But I'm collecting that, and we're going to use it at the retreat as well, because it occurred to me that whatever this bitter alkaloid is that's in the males and not in the females is going to be medicinal. And maybe more potent than the females. So yeah, that's a basic rundown. And then I also use these plants in different configurations and concentrations. If someone has a particular issue, then we can make extracts and highly concentrated Bobinsana or Unitagato or whatever it is. All of these plants also have spiritual benefits, I guess you could say. In particular, Bobinsana, which a lot of people don't know this, but it actually has a lot of the same alkaloids that ayahuasca does. Harmalas, they're alkaloids, but they're harmala alkaloids. Although, in order to make a psychoactive brew from Bobinsana, you would probably need several full trees cooked down to a paste. But it is extremely efficacious at opening the heart. It's actually pretty miraculous, the changes that it can affect, particularly when consumed with the ayahuasca. So that plant actually in particular is kind of like my main ally plant that I use to aid in the emotional restructuring and balancing that's such an essential component to transmutation. Some people have asked me why there's Hermes on the thumbnails and why the Masonic symbol in my logo, and what's up with that. And some of the descriptions say it's a Hermetic magic or Hermetic ritual magic retreat as well as plant medicine, and that's just optional. A lot of the people that have come here because they're fans of the channel, or partly because of that, are interested in learning that stuff, which I think can benefit anyone. It's not like you have to adopt any beliefs, any particular beliefs, or you're not worshiping anything. It's not that kind of ritual. It's more like really sophisticated, structured, meditative process than what you might think of as magic. It's just that we don't really have a better term. Also, we talk a lot about the type of thinking that has been labeled Hermetic. It actually is not reflective of what you would find in like the early Hermetic writings from like the 3rd century or whatever. But you can see this stuff in the work of the people that have structured our society. Like cash is water, money is water. The banks control the flow of the water. And so there's this understanding of the symbolic workings of the mind and the necessity of reflecting natural process and natural law in your systems and in the perception of your systems in the people that you're ruling over. And so another good example is that Mercury is Thoth or Hermes, and gold is a symbol for higher consciousness. This whole thing of alchemy, turning lead into gold and transmuting the lower consciousness into the higher, is the basis for that. And there's a deeper truth to it. Consciousness originates in light. And so, gold is like solar yellow. I actually spend a lot of time running the sluice in the river, And the first time I saw gold in direct sunlight in the pan, it really hit me. This stuff is not normal. There is something weird about gold. Um, it's kind of like it's like the sunlight had hit the water and crystallized. Um, and so it's a symbol for higher consciousness, right? And Mercury is the messenger of the gods that is bringing this divine knowledge that results in higher consciousness, right? So in the physical world, when you are trying to purify gold, you are taking Mercury and mixing the gold and the black sand into it and then evaporating the mercury off, and the mercury causes the gold to um, condense basically, and so the impurities fall away and you have the um, pure gold. So both of those examples are kind of examples of hermetic thinking, and it's not really hermetic thinking. It's how mind and universe works, and mind and universe are not separate things. So it doesn't really belong to any school. That's just the most convenient label, I guess, for me to use. Um, so yeah, that's what's up with all that. Yeah, I noticed we've lost most of you guys the um, due to the internet. So another thing that I should mention is that uh, we are not only doing these sort of hybridized ceremonies where I might play improvisational music on an electric guitar, and we might listen to modern psychedelic music and have these discussions. We also have very traditional Kichwa facilitators, usually Mama Celia, and that's usually only once per 10-day period. But everyone that comes to the retreat will experience also very traditional, in fact, untouched by the ayahuasca industry or any influences really, because Mama Celia left the jungle at I think 17, um, and she is almost 70 now, so it's been a while. But it's a pretty extraordinary circumstance that this shamana did not see a toilet until she was 17 years old. She didn't know what a town was. She said she never heard 20 years. Um, it's never worked that way. Not to my knowledge, anyways. And now that's sort of like a standard belief that that's how that works. It's not. I guess it could, and it is, but you know what I mean. This kind of stuff. Um, and there are a lot of different elements of it that have kind of caused this standardization of protocol. So we're shamans used to have um, their own unique style. You would learn certain techniques, and you would come to an understanding of certain processes. But you would not learn ayahuasca songs off of YouTube that have 10 million likes that are actually Spanish romance songs and just change the lyrics to say Pachamama over and over and over again or whatever. That's not really what an Icaro sounds like. It's it's just ayahuasca industry crap, honestly. If you hear an actual like Shuar shaman singing during an ayahuasca ceremony, it is got absolutely nothing to do with what we think of as medicine music from the current industry. It's nothing like that. It sounds like some kind of interdimensional creature has busted through the veil and is in the room speaking in some alien tongue that is impossible to imagine could even exist. That is ayahuasca, not Spanish romance pop songs that people are, you know. And the other thing is, every shaman had his own songs. You didn't do that. You didn't learn really. And in some cases, sure, I'm sure songs were shared, but the sort of standardization of ayahuasca music, I've been to a lot of different ceremonies, and you hear the same songs everywhere, you know, because it's almost like it's a trendy thing, and there's like pop culture stuff that has embedded itself in this thing because it's become a trend. And you know, if I seem personally offended by it, I kind of am, because it's sort of unfortunate. Where I know shamans that actually have abandoned their traditional approaches in order to conform to what they think people are going to expect based on what they read on the internet. I literally watched that happen before my own eyes. People that were authentic and genuine, and you know, as more and more time went by, more and more of a new age influence, and just conforming to what people are going to expect. And the really sad thing about it is that a lot of people that go to hundreds of ceremonies, and it's their life to like go to retreats and ceremonies, if you don't conform to this completely false ayahuasca industry standards, you are fake. And the reality is that all the people that they think are legitimate are sort of fake. It's, you know, it's hard not to be insulted by it when you've actually, you know, studied for a lifetime, and people kind of take this completely absurd position. I can't help but find it a bit obnoxious. So the point really though is that, you know, you're supposed to do things differently. Every single practitioner is supposed to find their own way. The Schwar person that I learned from told me, do not study the hands of your master, because he saw me watching him too closely. Um, and that's what he meant, you know, like clearly he's there with me for a reason. But I'm not supposed to sing his songs. I'm not supposed to emulate all of the techniques that he does exactly the way that he does. And that's one of the reasons that I was originally attracted to shamanism, is that you are not bound to some book, or you know, some set of instructions and dogma and all of this stuff. Each path is unique. Every man must cut his own trail through the jungle, and woman. Although that's actually um, much more rare traditionally, at least in South American shaman, for women. A couple of tribes it's not true, but for the most part, that's also kind of a newer development. Um, which I have no opinion about it. Everyone should, you know, everyone should do it if they're called and committed. Um, but just for the sake of historical accuracy. Um, yeah, you guys, I'm a bit better. I guess today I've been able to sit here at like, I'm sure you can tell I'm not like, and especially in the first part of the stream, like I couldn't get my head together. Um, and the sad reality of that is that it's probably because my brain is swollen a little bit. So, I'm also noticing like my voice is weak and stuff, and like if I cough, my kidneys hurt. Like it's not good. Definitely not good. But you know, I have a whole jungle full of medicinal plants, and also medical doctors, which is another thing that, you know, I do differ a little bit from a lot of people in the you mean no data? Yeah, it kind of looks like the internet must be terrible because I can't even load the... Okay, here we go. I'm going to, as soon as I get better, to do some streams. I traded my like 2 or 3 crappy guitars that I had for a much better one, and I figured out how to use Reaper, so I should be able to do much more quality streams finally. After years of saying I was going to get this together, I finally have. Ow. Alright, well, I can't even tell what's going on anymore. I can't load the... Looks like it's gone. Oh no, wait. That's... Alright, well, I guess I'm just gonna sign off because I can't... Oh, well, there you go. It's working, I guess. Yeah, the internet thing is obnoxious, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get more data, or... I mean, it says excellent connection now. I really don't understand why it's... Ow, so difficult. By the way, hit the like button, share, subscribe, support us on Patreon, or you can support us via Zelle or PayPal, links in description and chat. And honestly, having to go back and forth to the city for this medical problem it's like $75 in the last 3 days or something. So we actually could use support at the moment, because this is not going to stop anytime soon, and there's lots of trips to the city, and now I have to go do all these tests, and honestly, having to go back, it's pretty outrageously expensive for this thing to have to deal with. Not to mention that it fucking hurts, man. My head is killing me. Alright guys, well, I am going to pop off, and maybe I'll jump on again later or something and see if it's better. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and we will see you again sooner than later. It's pretty outrageously